And what is up? It is White Trash Donnie. Thanks for joining the Sloppy Syndicate Show with special guest Felicity. We will have them in here shortly, so I hope you enjoyed the intro. Let's see who we have in the chat. Go ahead. What's up, Ellie? Bearded Accountant. Thanks for joining. Go ahead and send some invites out. We're streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube tonight. So let's get those invites out. Your nanny, your pappy, your ninth cousin, your mistress, whoever you want to send it to, get them on in here. And we're going to rock out with some Felicity tonight and enjoy some of their company. So let's bring them on in. What's up, broskies?
What's good?
What's
That
up?
was awesome. That intro was great. I was like vibing to our own song. It's like catching
Right.
myself. Like, oh wait, I've heard this 5 million times.
I definitely was doing that as well. So I'm with you, too.
How weird is it kind of being on stream and listening to your own your own intro? So
I think it's great. I think it's great. Like it's we took a lot of time to do that music video, so it's good that it gets, some attention in this way. So it's, for me, I think it's fucking cool. So I'm cool.
That's probably one of my top favorites from you guys. So especially like the guitar riffs and just the growls and a little bit harder. So definitely my jam there. So I had to choose, I had to use that one. So folks, thanks for joining us. If you don't know, this is the band Felicity based out of Orlando, Florida. And some big news this week. They will be playing Kraken Fest with the U's, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, the Dev, Werewolves. Who am I missing? Evergreen Terrace.
Store of the Year.
Story of the Year.
Amberlin.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
It's going to be
that's enough.
Right. So it's going to be a huge weekend, and if I'm correct, you guys just actually got the call a couple days ago. So,
yeah, it was awesome. Our manager hit us up and said, they're gonna let you guys play, and we're like, hell yes, that's the dream. We love playing festivals. Festivals is like the number one thing a live band wants to always do is do that because the crowd's great, the energy's great. You get to be kind of like rub shoulders with like people you've grown up listening to. And I mean, we have stories of the last big festival we played in Fort Myers, it was called Fort Rock, and we got to meet Papa Roach and of Mice and Men, and got to watch
Seether. You were confused for Seether at one point, which was
great. Yeah, people thought I was the lead singer of Seether for a minute, and I thought they were just like,
hey, just roll with it. Yeah, hey, that's me. What's up?
Because they watched me play, but they were actually excited to meet me because they thought I was the lead singer of Seether.
Yeah, sometimes just
be worse people to be compared to, I guess, though.
Yeah. But so that's super, super exciting news there. And you also have, obviously we don't do Warped Tour anymore, so you're doing a Winter Warped up in, is it Jacksonville and Tampa, correct?
Yeah, and Orlando.
Okay. We
started that a couple years ago, where we, it was right when Warped Tour was kind of ending, and we were like, what would be really fun is to get a bunch of bands that we're friends with here in Orlando and a bunch of the, up and coming talent here in Orlando, and do like a Warped Tour tribute festival where it's all local bands from Orlando or Central Florida, but everyone's doing kind of like a tribute set to a Warped Tour band that they grew up listening to or really inspired them. And then on top of that, we really treat it like Warped Tour, where it's like 25-minute sets, like quick. It's just like we can fit 8 bands in one night. So it's 8 bands, and then each band is covering a band. So our first year we did Census Fail, which is a huge influence to us. And then last year we did Good Charlotte. And then who are we doing this year, Damien?
This year we're doing Papa Roach. I'm very excited to be doing that. Huge influences on a lot of us in the band. So to be able to perform that song and just vibe out and have fun on stage, it's just hard choosing that set list. You know what I mean? There's so many
good songs.
Yeah. So like we're finding it difficult to do that right now. But either way, it's like Drew said. We're excited to be bringing it to 3 cities this time. It's like a festival that we created on our own. So hopefully if these 3 do well, we want to branch out more in the future, maybe go up, go up north a little bit more and stuff like that. Maybe go up to Georgia and stuff like that. So little by little, but it's also building good camaraderie in the scene. You know what I mean? You're developing these relationships with bands and people are getting into you just because, you're doing a cover set, because then, then they get into your band and and you just continue to make the scene thrive, which is important.
Right, and let's face it, we all missed Warped Tour. We all grew up
Yes.
going to Warped Tour, so it's nice to kind of have that something like
Sure.
that, to come back around. And let's face it, we've been in the pandemic 2.5, almost 3 years now. So this is going to be the first one of the bigger festivals going on. Since the pandemic began. They did Rockville last year, which wasn't as busy, but I mean, still a ton of people. So how do you guys feel about that, getting in front of because we're all going to be, there's that energy is going to be there, because people have been cooped up, they haven't been out, and they're going to go to the first rock concert and who knows how long. So
for me, like just playing live music, like you said, is absolutely crazy. Like now, because being cooped up, like you said, even for these musicians and bands, like everyone's feeling that. So now it's like we're starting to get back into it. I feel like there'll be like an explosion of people wanting, especially rock music, which is great. People just want to go be at a festival. They want to experience that live feel. You can watch, live streams and everything like that, which are great. But I think nothing really substitutes being, in person at a show for me. So
for sure.
I think it's going to be sick. I'm excited for it. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, we were, coming out of the pandemic, we played our first show back was like our album release show. And it was so weird after not playing for a year and a half to play a show again. And our second show back from, being gone all that time was supposed to be this Rebel Rock festival that was in Orlando.
Oh
And
yeah,
we were on that lineup, and it got canceled like the day before we were supposed to play.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
That was really heartbreaking for us. We were looking forward to that so much, to play a festival right after, like as our second show back from such a long hiatus, and the lineup was just so awesome. And
it was.
Fortunately, it didn't happen for whatever reason, and so we're ready. Like Kraken Fest, like we're ready. We're coming for you. We're bringing everything we got. So we've been waiting to play for a crowd like this on a stage like this for a long time.
So within the last year, you've released an EP album, six music videos, I think it is.
Yeah, we released we released our first full length album back in July.
Okay.
We had released some EPs in the past, and the most songs we'd ever recorded at one time was like 6 songs. And we finally felt it was time to like bring a selection of work, like an album, like 10 songs that we wrote at the same time that represents the time period we were as a band and where we were in our lives. And so we actually recorded it in 2019, and then we couldn't release it there was a year and a half where the music industry was essentially shut down. So we've had these songs for like 2 years, and we had to finally release it in July. But we signed our record deal in January, and they wanted the album out in July, but they wanted us to release six songs with 6 music videos. So we had to do 6 music videos in 6 months. So there was a time period where it was like every single weekend we were filming a music video or planning music video and filming music video for this one that's coming out in April, and then this one that's coming out in May. And it was hectic and fun.
I can imagine.
Definitely hectic. It was definitely hectic. But like having a full album out allowed us to have a little bit more freedom with our sound too. It just gives you, more of a, you have more songs, so you can show more of your styles in it. And I thought that was something that really, I was really excited to do with this. And we've got another batch of songs that we're actually working on now as well. So constant grinding, constant hustling. So we're excited for the future though. That's for certain.
Yeah, definitely 6 videos in 6 months. That's a lot of work. And most people don't know what goes on behind the scenes with the video editing, the videos itself. And yeah, so that's definitely time consuming. So props on that one. But so the songs that the band has, Felicity, I don't want to say it's all over the board, but you get some of the hard rock, you get some of the punk rock, you just get so many variations, with the different songs. And I think that's what kind of drew my attention to you and started jamming out, was there's just so many
that's cool
aspects of it's not just heavy metal. You have like Hit and Run is my favorite song, and you get pretty hard in there, and but there's also songs
metal song, I get what you're saying.
Without question, I think that's something that I enjoy, being in Felicity because of that. Just the dynamic that everyone brings. Everyone has kind of their own influences, and I feel like it's hard sometimes to cultivate all of, those bands out there and saying, hey, how can I become a band that has all of these influences, or can I just stick to one? Because a lot of times you do get hate sometimes, being a band. Sometimes when you do all of these different styles, people are like, oh, just stick to one thing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I mean, for me, if I find influences and enjoy all these styles, then I kind of like, why can't I do it myself? You know what I mean? So that's kind of like our thought process. Everyone has a bunch of different influences. Some people like heavier stuff, some people like softer stuff. And I really think that's truly where Felicity kind of finds its sound, because of all that. So I'm grateful to be in a band with these guys, and a band that we don't kill each other, when we talk about all these different things. So we're able to actually make it work, which is cool. Drew, I don't know, what do you think? The same, right? I mean,
absolutely. And I also think it helps, sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, because you may have someone who like loves heavy music, and they might hear a song like, Hit and Run or Pendulum, and they're like, I'm getting into this band. And then they start listening to the album, and they realize there's like, some other off the wall genres. We do pop punk, we do, just straightforward rock music. We do just whatever the song needs, whatever's fun, right? And so it can be less and curse, but also I think it's great for us because we get to play shows where we are like the heaviest band on the entire lineup. And we also get to play shows where we're the least heavy band on the entire lineup. So, we're kind of just this rock band that you can plug on a metal show. You can plug it on a pop punk show. You can plug it on an indie show. Like, we can pretty much make our set list work to whatever type of show we need to play, because we have such a diverse, group of songs in our in what we got going on. So,
and yeah, why limit yourself to one genre when you can, three or four? So I don't know if you guys, like I said, and I'm going to brag about Hit and Run because that's my favorite one as of now.
Sure.
And there's actually a story behind that. You guys want to kind of tell the story of how the song was originally written?
Sure, absolutely. That song in general for me, and the rest of the guys as well, was definitely a painful experience. It was an experience that needed to be told. I feel, when it initially happened, it was, we were driving home from playing a show one night, actually, and we were most of the band was in the car. A few of the other band was in a different car. We were just driving home, and as we're going by, like, it's a green light truck, massive truck, just comes right in front of us, and we just basically crash and collide, and it was absolutely insane. I'd never had something like that happen to me. It was absolutely wild and crazy. Like, and my car was totaled. That car fled the scene. I still remember the tail lights, like, very distinctly. Just seeing it like stop for a second and then just take off, and basically the lawlessness of people, in terms of like not caring if they had killed anyone in the car, just didn't really care whatsoever. And then just coming out of that situation, just checking on everyone after in the vehicle, all my bandmates. Luckily we were alive after that. The experience in your mind left a thought that, what if one of these guys would have died and stuff like that? My life would have changed completely. My life still did change completely from that, because it was just an insane experience to go through, and just see like how people have sometimes no respect for life and things like that. So that's kind of how that song was conceived. It's basically it's a true story, and it's a hit and run of the lawlessness of people, and how life can like disappear like that in an instant. And when we wrote it in the studio, it was really, really painful to like kind of remember a lot of those things. And a lot of those lyrics are true. There's a lyric about the taillights, never disappearing from my mind, and things like that. And Drew, who was in the passenger seat as well. And it's just, after the song was written, I definitely felt a lot more therapeutic, being able to release it and tell that story, because none of the guys said anything. We didn't tell anyone. We just carried on with our life. You know what I mean? I don't know. We just didn't feel like we needed to tell anyone about that, but we knew we would tell it in a song one day. And that's that song, Hit and Run. And the music video kind of, Drew, if you want to talk about that music video, kind of.
Yeah. We really just didn't tell anyone. We felt like, it was a tragedy what happened, but at the end of the day, we were all okay. And sure, Damien, we know we had a car that was totaled and we had to deal with that. And luckily we didn't have like music equipment. So we just felt like if we had posted about it and we had like shared that with our fans or to the world, that we would have just been using it as a way to get attention by saying like,
Sure.
feel sorry for us when we were actually okay. So we decided to wait until we could make a song out of it, and that's when we can get attention for it. And so tell our story that way. And so it was so awesome being able to do that. And then we got to do the music video, which I feel like has a lot of synergy with the story, where several different members of the band kind of turn into ghosts, and kind of going through Damien's mind of at any one point one of us could have been gone, and he would have had to live on with the guilt of that for the rest of his life. However, this person who fled the scene gets to go live their life and never had any legal ramifications or ever. They were never able to catch this person, and just how differently the situation could have been, to where our lives could have been changed so drastically forever, and this person got to go on like nothing happened. So kind of like, that's definitely one of the more serious and emotional things that we've done as a band, because most of the time we're pretty lighthearted and we don't take ourselves seriously. But Dear Universe, this new album we released in July, allowed us to kind of like not be afraid to show some of those deeper layers that we have, because we hadn't done that before. Our songs were very much stuff that we wanted to be relatable to everybody, but this was kind of a chance for us to do plenty of that. But since we have a full-length album, we can also tell our story too, and put some of those personal elements that we were really not probably comfortable enough sharing until then.
Yeah, and for sure that a traumatic experience, obviously, but you turned it into something positive, with a banger of a song, and I just wanted the fans and the audience to kind of grasp where you guys get your music from. So obviously we all either write music or relate to music in some sort of way. Music gets us through a lot of hard times and different things like that. So I didn't know if I should bring it up, but I thought that was kind of important. Kind of important to put out there. And we have some good questions in here. So let's Bruce City. You go to every show you can, every chance you get. I agree with you. Yeah, definitely try to get out and live life. Life is precious. So,
100%.
And then Daniel the Bearded had a great question. What was your favorite lineup you were a part of?
Oh man, that's
probably two real choices, right? It's either probably Warped Rewind or Fort Rock.
Or Fort Rock. Yeah, Fort Rock. That's what I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything right now.
We got to play a really, really, really good lineup of Warped Tour, but we got to play one date, and it was the Orlando date, and we were like the very first band that played. So, but that year of Warped Tour was, I think, 2016, and if you go back and look at that lineup, it was incredible. It had everybody. It had Sum 41. It had, I'm pretty sure it had The Used. It had Taking Back Sunday. It had Neck Deep, State Champs. So many amazing bands. Yellow Card, Newfound Glory. That was definitely one of them. And then we got that, but also we were kind of like not part of the lineup. We're the local band that like gets to play like every Warped Tour. There's one like local band that gets to play the date, and that was what it was for us. And we were, by all means, like it was a dream come true to just say we were part of Warped Tour. But we also got to do this Warped Tour at Sea Cruise in 2017, where we actually won a contest to get on that. And we were only like three unsigned bands that were invited to play, and then all the rest of the bands were Warped Tour bands. But that was incredible because it was like Warped Tour every day on a cruise ship. So like sun up to sundown, there's just Warped Tour. Like
party time.
I think there was like 6 different stages on the boat. So at any point you could go to a stage and see, at 3:45 this band's playing, at 4:15 I want to go see this band. And Story of the Year was there, and Hawthorne Heights was there. Less Than Jake, Real Big Fish, Mayday Parade. So many awesome Warped Tour bands. And the great thing was you got to just like, at the end of the day, you're on a cruise ship, so you're just hanging out with all the bands. So as fans, we just got to like be around all these musicians, and all the musicians didn't just want to spend the whole time in their cabin. Like,
Right.
who'd want to go on a cruise and stay in your cabin the time? So they're out enjoying the cruise just like everybody else, which is awesome. It was all like very like what Warped Tour always was about was like equality and like everyone's equal. Like every band get on Warped Tour gets to close the night and every band gets to open. There's not like a headliner. Every band's treated equal. So it definitely felt like that. And we were treated as equals. We got to play the biggest stage, we got to play the smallest stage, we got to play a good nighttime slot, we got to play the first slot of the day.
Insanity.
And then Damien, I'll let you talk about Fort Rock because I'm sure you have plenty of memories from that.
Oh, without question. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think Fort Rock was absolutely phenomenal. I think some of the headliners were, I think it was Def Leppard, Papa Roach, Chevelle, Seether. I think 3 Days Grace was on that, if I'm not mistaken. Beartooth was awesome. I think Motionless in White was there. There was. I mean, I could go on for that, but I'll always remember Caleb Shomo of Beartooth, who was side stage. Beartooth. I think we opened up that stage, and Beartooth was right after us. So I just always remember playing that show and seeing Caleb on the side just watching us. And I was like, I hope he doesn't think we suck right now. But that's something that I always remember. And Fort Rock was just phenomenal. Like, we saw Jacoby Shaddix backstage. We talked to him for a little while. The guys in Chevelle, like, it was so cool to just be back there in a festival like that, to play it, and then just to see these musicians in the back carrying themselves and just being side stage watching the show and seeing the crowd feed off the energy. I mean, Fort Rock for me has to be the choice, but
it was incredible. The great thing was that was one where we were kind of treated as equals. Like, it's so hard when you're in a local band or like an up and coming band, local band, up and coming band. Like, if you've been in a band, Don, you just know that, like, no matter what, if you're opening for other bands and you're treated like it's like fan and then like you and then like everybody else. So it's like you play and then you get back in the crowd and you're the same as everybody. But
and
exactly.
that's it's and it's kind of common in the industry. Some of the ones that get the rock stars, the big rock stars are kind of like, oh, who the hell are you? And that's what I found cool about Jacoby is he's probably one of the most down to earth guys. He'll sit and talk to you for 20 minutes.
I agree.
And not even know who you are. So when I saw him in concert and, I just, hung out with him for 15, 20 minutes. Hey, what's up? Even Taking Back Sunday and Evergreen Terrace last year, they just, so down to earth, sit, chill with you, have a drink, whatever. And, but then on the flip side, you do have some bands that are like, who the hell are you? Like, get on my level type of thing. But
and with Papa Roach, we just talking about Fort Rock being treated as equals, and we had the same like access as all the other bands. So watching Fort Rock was an experience because you got to see like younger bands watching the older bands and the older bands coming to watch the younger bands, and these group of bands would be side stage watching this band and these group of bands would be side stage watching this band. But the one band that every single person came, every single band was side stage to see Papa Roach. They were like,
that's true.
Nope, we need to be there. And I was one of them. And just watching Papa Roach side stage play Scars, and all the crowd, the thousands of people are singing along. I was like, this is it. This is it. It doesn't get better than this.
I agree.
I'll remember this the rest of my life.
And Jacoby is just so phenomenal for me as a front man, just to watch, just to see his engagement with the crowd, how he moves from side to side while still like being in tune and singing everything right. For me as a front man, it's like, man, that's someone who you definitely look up to, and you're like, they just push you to want to be better as a musician, that's my favorite part. Like when I get to see bands and I get inspired.
Yeah, and some of those stages are pretty massive. I'd be out of breath by the time I got to the other side, and trying to breathe and sing and keep tune. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So Archie Muda has a pretty good question. Is it a cathartic song to play each night?
I absolutely hit and run. Absolutely. Yes. Whenever, just when you're singing that song, you just, like I said, like there are certain lyrics in that song that just stand out so much in my memory when I'm singing it. And I really think it is therapeutic in a sense, because it just makes me kind of get out that anger, if that makes sense. And eventually it becomes like a song that maybe will bring awareness to people as well. Just to look out for others and be careful, and your actions can affect people and really change someone's life. So I hope that not only one thing, it's cathartic for us, but it's also maybe bringing awareness to people and saying like, I need to think about, some of these things before I, potentially kill someone, if it comes
Right.
like a hit and run and things like that. So I'd say for me, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure.
So 2016 Warp was crazy good. I would agree. I miss Warp Tour so much. I think we all loved Warp Tour. So
Absolutely.
I miss Brew City. Lots of local metal bands here. Next big venue is Rock Fest in July.
Nice.
What's the lineup there, Miss Brew City? Archie Mundo. I think Warped 05 and 06 was my fave. Fat Mike Haslin Under Oath. Oh, the year Kill Switch and Bronx
Kill
played
Switch is great.
Way Fuego. So what's up, Donald Long? Thanks for coming in.
Hey, guys.
Fire. But yeah, so I think Motionless in White is making the charts coming up, and then Zombified. It's not Motionless in White. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, Falling in Reverse. That's a huge hit right now. So I think you and I are probably in the same kind of spectrum of music that we enjoy. So I got big time.
I think rock music's making a comeback. We've been kind of on the back burner for, I don't know, better part of 10 years for sure. But everything comes in cycles, Yeah.
I think the rock fan base is super dedicated, which is like a great thing. You know what I mean? Some of these other genres, I feel like maybe not as dedicated. I feel like that rock scene is when you're with it, you're with them. You know what I mean? So that's something I can appreciate about rock music, and the fact that they're ride or die. You know what I mean? They're going to be with you, and I would agree. I agree with you.
And what I like, and not to get into politics or anything like that, because those are two things I stay away from: politics and religion. We're not going to talk about those, but Zombified is kind of, I want to say, it breaks barriers kind of in the rock community, because it does bring, I don't want to say political, but it does bring that, a little bit of awareness of current world events, I guess you could say, into it. So, and that's not something you see often, but so it's kind of refreshing to see them go that route. They're getting a ton of hate, they're getting a ton of love, but at the end of the day,
his style, man. He's
right.
never been afraid to say what's on his mind, and he's probably one of the most polarizing people in all like our generation of rock music for sure. I don't think there's a more loved and hated person.
If you check out his TikToks, it's like you got one that loves him, and they're just like battling back and forth. I'm like,
I gotta check these out now.
He actually responds. Right. He responds to people who talk shit to him, and it's great. And he does it. He does it pretty respectfully and pretty intelligently, and it's great. It's awesome. He's a great follow on TikTok for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely a super smart dude, and I don't know how he has the time to kind of respond to everybody, but he's a cool character. So Archie Mundo actually played in a band. I got big time when I opened for a touring act once, but the drummer was super complimentary.
Nice.
So,
all right.
What kind of band were you in, Archie? Punk alternative, I guess it'd be considered. So
cool.
Did you tour Archie, or were you just kind of a local? So, all right, mods kick him out. No, just playing. So, but, yeah, so I'm super stoked for you guys. I mean, it's big time it's going to be a huge festival. I think last I was talking with, the promoters, there's probably going to be 20, 30,000. So
might be the biggest crowd I've ever played for, to be honest. Like, we played for some great crowds, but this might be the biggest one for us. So far.
We're ready for it though.
We've been working really hard. Like, being in a band is not easy. Being in a band for 7 years is not easy. And Damien and I started this band in his parents' garage almost 7 years ago. I think this summer will be 7 years. But it wasn't like we've been what we are now this whole time. It's been a journey, and like we say, we're the only two original members, but the lineup we've had for several years. The majority of the music we put out has been with this lineup. But it's been a long ride. Damien and I neither of us were from Central Florida originally, and didn't really have know anyone in the scene. Didn't have any friends who were in bands. Didn't know any musicians. Didn't know any venue contacts, and we pretty much had to just kick the door down to get accepted into this scene. I remember it feels like it was yesterday when we couldn't even know who to talk to get to play a show. And the first time we got to play a venue like Back Booth in Orlando, it was like a dream come true for us to just be able to play there. And we would look back and we would say, it'd be really cool, man, if someday we were able to find a couple more guys and we were able to play a show someday. And fast forward all these years, and to be able to be blessed enough to be able to, have people like really enjoy our music and listen to our music every day, and to be able to play shows like this, it's been a long journey and a lot of hard work. And it's really cool that, when you start to see some of those things pay off and you get some of these opportunities like we have next weekend. So
yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. So it was, going back to Rebel Rock. I can't sing. I'm not very talented. I am pretty stupid and funny. So I'm kind of like the hype man. Get me drunk and yeah, anything can happen. But so the running joke. So I do a lot of beard shows, like in the beard community and that. So I'm known for assless chaps and being white trash Donnie. But
Nice.
so yeah, I just like live life. Live your life. But so when we went to Rebel Rock, they played the Thursday show for Jose Mangan's birthday bash, and then Friday, like 30 minutes before the show, they cut it. So we're like, what are we going to do this weekend? So I was working with Ace and some of the venues kind of around, like, hey, let's get some bands in here. They're in town. Like let's make it happen somewhere.
Exactly.
You got all these people in town. And so fortunately Ace stepped up. They had Autumn to Ashes and not Autumn to Ashes. I'm going back to my old school, but and yeah, so I was on the stage like the hype man, just throwing out beers and throwing out shirts and like, what else? Let me throw it out. What do you want out?
What else can I find? What else you guys got?
Right. So it was actually a very cool experience because they were so humbled and
that's so cool.
And when you have a big, I don't want to say they're huge. They're not, Five Finger Death Punch, but they're making their way up the charts. And, just to see them be on stage with them and just kind of like, hey, what's up? And then just throwing their merch out and just, kind of being their hype man. It was kind of super cool. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, definitely.
I know from you though, how were the field conditions on Thursday?
I didn't go Thursday.
Okay.
So actually, so my schedule at that time I was working, but
we couldn't go Thursday, but I was gonna go Friday after work. I was gonna get there at like 4:00, and then obviously we were playing Saturday, and then I was gonna go Sunday like all day. And Friday it was like 11 a.m. or something Friday when I got the message. We got the message, and it was just like a huge bummer because that lineup was great. When I was a kid, my favorite band was Limp Bizkit, and I've never gotten to see them live because by the time I was old enough to see them live, they were not really a band anymore. And now they're back, and that was like my opportunity, and it was just like in my grasp, and then it was gone.
Right. It's like ripped out of your hands, but like dad vibes. Like it's freaking hilarious. He's got the gray hair, like epic, like totally epic. He pulls it off.
He does.
And just being able to see them play like an hour, probably like an hour set or 40, hour and a half set, being the headliners of the festival, we would have heard just like all the Limp Bizkit classics. We would have heard all the great deep cuts and the new stuff, which I love. New Limp Bizkit album, like there's a lot of songs that are out there, but the stuff that's like Limp Bizkit stuff is great, including that one, Dad Vibes, that song. But the entire album has some misses, but there's some classic LB there.
Yeah, so I was a little disappointed in Rebel Rock, and we won't get into the conspiracy theories and whatnot, but I remember going to Warped Tour and having mud up to my knees.
Yeah.
We're going to Warped Tour.
Okay. Well, Damien and I were at no, I don't think you went, Damien. Corey and I were at like 3 weeks earlier, we were at, it was called Sad Summer Fest, and it was at the fairgrounds, and it was the doors were supposed to be at 4 p.m. and it was absolutely torrential downpouring at 3:30. Like, like it was in August, those August afternoons in Florida. Like, but one of the worst ones I've seen where you can't even see a foot outside your window. All you see is gray. And I was like, they're gonna have to cancel this. And sure enough, they waited and they postponed until 7 p.m. to open doors, but they just had to cut like all the first 3 or 4 opening bands, and then like the final 3 bands still played, like the 3 headliners still played, and they still did it. And so I was like, that was a pretty bad storm, and they still did Sad Summerfest. So I was a little bit suspicious about rubbing.
I think there's a little more to the story that we'll never know, but
I think so.
yeah.
Maybe we'll get a Netflix documentary like Fire
Right?
Fest.
Like Fryer 2.0.
Yeah.
So cool to get to know you guys. Definitely, Ellie. And I'm thankful that they came on the Sloppy Syndicate Show. So, and question, how do you think your music has evolved from Burn the World to Wish You Weren't Here?
Wow.
That's a great question. I think Burn the World was it was our second EP that we were working with our producer Andrew Wade, who is absolutely phenomenal. He's done bands like A Day to Remember, Neck Deep.
Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of different styles there. So he's a great producer to have, especially with the style music that we like and we love. So I think Burn the World was early on for us. We definitely liked that heavy music. I think Burn the World had that kind of feel to it. And I think, as we went on with our next album, Old Habits, it started to get, there's heavy songs in there, but it started getting a little bit more pop punk in there, I'd say. And then Wish You Weren't Here, I think, is just classic pop punk. And I know that the two are kind of on opposite spectrums, I would think, sound wise, but for some reason, it still works for us. So I just think the evolution is that we're more comfortable writing songs like Burn the World and Wish You Weren't Here than we've ever been. So I think that's kind of like the evolution. We're not afraid to like kind of write those heavy songs, or we're not afraid to write those songs that are sing along, catchy pop punk. And it has a 6 solo in it. So I think that Drew, wrote that, and with Corey, our lead guitar player. So I think it showed an evolution that we're really comfortable with ourselves, and we're not afraid to do whatever genre we want.
Yeah, and when we did our first EP with Andrew Wade, which had Burn the World on it, we kind of like, it was our first real heavy song we had ever written. But we were also very new as a band. We'd only written a handful of songs. But so that was like the heaviest song we'd written at the time. And then we had a song that came like right after it on the EP called Hang On, that is like super, super pop punky as well. And we always kind of had that duality of like a little bit of, this and that, some like super pop punky stuff that sounds like it could be, on maybe a Newfound Glory song, and then stuff that like Burn the World, which could be, I don't know, maybe something more like a band like Beartooth or Motionless in White might put out. But we did another EP with Andrew Wade after that, where we had a song called Circles, which was even heavier than Burn the World. And some people still to this day say Circles is their absolute favorite song we've made. And, we would get like real mosh pits with that one. And then we had some super pop punk songs on that one. We have a song called The City Beautiful that's about the city of Orlando. And
another good one.
Pop punk, and it's great that we're still doing that with our new album, but we're also doing some new stuff we've never done. So there's like some new elements of stuff that's like you've never heard. And it was great to be able to take those chances, to even take more chances. And it's like, we like to think of it as like our band is like a buffet. There's like a little something for everybody, especially with our new record. Like there's a song I could show my grandmother and she wouldn't like plug her ears. I think
So let's talk about Watermelon Sugar High. So a cover song, badass cover song, by the way.
Nice.
Thank you.
And so what I've seen in the last couple of years, so like Our Last Night and Fame on Fire, they started out doing covers, and so I think that's man, how do I want to say this? I think keep doing the covers as well as originals, and it just, I mean, you guys will blow up. You guys got that. You got the rhythm, you got the rhyme, you got the riffs, and you got it all. But
it's those covers that sometimes like that bring a lot more awareness to your band. You're like, oh, some people are like, I like the cover more than the original, so it shows like musicianship too, which is really cool. But you just got to be careful with that too, that you don't just, become, just strictly doing covers and stuff like that. So
Right.
it could get, with that fine line that you got to be, kind of be careful with and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that, people love our band and our sound.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So like, Fame on Fire, I love them, but
They do. They kill it.
most of their songs are cover songs. They're starting to come out with their own songs now, but
They kill it with those.
that's
like
how.
think of it like like I Prevail, who they got huge because of a cover, but they have so much awesome original music now. It's
phenomenal. I Prevail's
they've been able to kind of like overcome the fact that they started as that band that did a Taylor Swift cover,
Right.
and now they're not. And I do remember, honestly, their first like big break was when they covered Since You've Been Gone.
Yeah.
And then, Downfall of Us All and everything else came out, and it was like, they were kind of a household name of our scene from there. But yeah, a cover can do a lot. And when we went and did it, we didn't want to do something that was expected, and we wanted to do something that was really relevant. And it felt like last summer, like that was kind of that summer we recorded it. It was kind of like the it song on the radio. And we wanted to prove that, if something's a good song, it can translate to multiple genres.
Yeah,
and
right.
Not Harry Styles is an icon, and being able to show that you can take a song that him and his songwriters wrote and make it a hard rock song was a fun experience and a challenging experience, and I think we pulled it off pretty good. I think that's about as good as you can do it for that.
Definitely challenging for sure to make sure like we're staying true to those melodies, but also saying, how can I make this rock? How can I make people excited about this? How can I start this song differently? I remember Wade saying, our producer just saying, like, we've got to switch things up. We've got to make this song sound really captivating in the first couple seconds. And if you hear Watermelon Sugar in the beginning, it's like, what's going on? Are these guys can even play guitar at some point? So
right, it starts out very mellow, and then
so it's kind of it's honestly it's pretty fun, and maybe there's some more covers in the cards for us in the future. We shall see.
I mean, I was jamming out in the shower right before, the shower, and I'm just like, Watermelon Sugar.
There you go.
I'm getting it on in the shower, singing. So, but
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we are 45 minutes in. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you guys got band practice tonight. You got a big week ahead. You got Kraken Fest, next Saturday. So obviously I'll see you at Kraken Fest, but
man, let's take some shots. Anybody at Kraken, come hang.
Are we gonna see the assless chaps at Kraken or no?
You talked them up a lot.
I mean, you did talk them up.
I said it one time. Okay.
All right. We'll see.
So TBT. Yeah, we'll see. I maybe I'll bring them, but I'll also bring a change of clothes. That way I can change out.
You don't want it if it's too cold, right?
But
if we do Watermelon Sugar, you've got to sing it with the assless chaps. I'm sorry.
Put me on the spot now. All right, I'll bring the assless chaps, whatever.
All right.
But no, so I just got the Kong beer bongs in today, so those will be out for us. We'll have a good time. And
sweet. Sounds good.
This band go to Coachella Fest.
Hell yeah, Nick! You're gonna drive us there,
right? What's up, Nick H? Thanks for coming in. But this is Felicity from Orlando, so they're actually playing Kraken Fest this Saturday. We'll be out there enjoying some live music. We are not strictly locked down like some of the states out there, so we get a little bit of freedom here and enjoy some of the music. And Nick is laughing at my assless chaps because he always tries to promote my assless chaps. So.
Well, he's done a good job.
I did send with some beard products. I did send a autographed picture of me mooning them.
Oh,
I didn't have the assless chaps, but I was out hiking and I was like, you know what? Let's take an assless picture.
Yeah. So it connects. It connects.
Right. Yeah. And they were like, well, aren't all chaps assless? Well, correct, but doesn't it sound better when you say assless chaps? Yeah, totally sounds better. So, he has to go on stage with the assless chaps.
Oh man, is that allowed at Kraken?
Right, it's pretty kid friendly. I don't want to get them. I don't want to get Felicity in trouble.
He gets canceled.
Oh right? God. Oh God.
Right. So it was like,
What a way to
speaking of
go out, Danny.
canceled,
We're going out though, right?
Oh,
right?
man.
Well, speaking of canceled, at Welcome to Rockville, I forget the name of the band. They were an opening band, but they brought a dude on stage, and literally the lead singer, which was a female, was pissed in his mouth.
I saw that. I saw the
I
video.
heard something about that. I didn't. Yeah, I had no idea.
And like they canceled it like quick. Like, oh no, they'll never be at Welcome to Rockville again. Like, yeah, it was crazy. It was all over the news. Like, and literally, she just
get yourself noticed on the news.
Right, literally, she like pulled her pants down, and the guy was all about it. He was like, "Oh yeah," and like literally pissed in his mouth. It's like,
I don't know what to say about that. That's pretty crazy. So,
Well, thank you so much for having us, Donnie. Great meeting everyone in the chat. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll do this again sometime, man.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see you Saturday
on,
at Kraken Fest, and
Absolutely.
I'll bring the beer bong. I'll bring the assless chaps. I'll bring a suitcase of
I'm so excited just in case. Let's go.
All right, broskies. I appreciate you coming on. And again, this is Felicity. And where can we find you guys at? Where can we find your music, your website, or Instagram?
Yeah, well, everything we try to keep super easy. So at We Are Felicity. So if you go on Facebook.com/We Are Felicity, or Instagram at We Are Felicity, TikTok, Twitter, and wearefelicity.com. And we're on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you can stream music. We're there. YouTube.com/We Are Felicity. It's pretty much We Are Felicity for everything.
Yep. And it's on IG as well, because I used Hit and Run. So, all right, broskies, I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you guys are practicing and getting ready for the big show this weekend. So we will see you next week. Thanks for everyone joining us. We will see you on the next Sloppy Syndicate Show with your host, White Trash Donnie.
See you guys. Thank you so much.